Okay, so let's start it. Oh, okay, let's do it now. You know the saying, you should try your best. I would say, forgetting that you gotta be the best. Is being taught 20% of your class good enough for you? No. If you want something, you have to go after it. And then you start producing good results and then you build confidence along the way. As a for a case, here are 10 study techniques that I squared by a medical student. They help me get into medicine and I use these on a day-to-day basis. Half I focus on the outdoor study techniques and the other half focus on the study mentality, which is just as important. Let's start with the first one. First, there is a different material testable core materials hours. So let's say the box represents all information that is presented to you and the star in the middle is the table material. Someone who doesn't know how to study will go from top to bottom covering every single detail. And when the exam time comes, they haven't covered like 20 to 30% of what is testable. Whereas someone who knows how to study will start from the middle, study from the core materials. This is testable and then study the topics and then the exam time comes. If they haven't studied everything, they have studied what is important and what is testable. And then we want to be the best student as possible. I want to be the best doctor as possible. When studying, we have this tendency to try to learn everything. But we have to make this mindset shift from focusing on those long-term goals to short-term goals. And those short-term goals, when you're taking courses, is to pass and get good grades in every midterm and every exam that is presented before you. And then those long-term will take care of themselves. So how do you know where is that both or not? There are two ways of figuring that out. First is to look for part tests or previous tests. Sometimes the lecturers give you, the couple questions at the end of the lecture. You go over on, pay attention to those. I also looked online in the grade to figure out if there are any practice tests lying around. I asked seniors if they have taken the course and if they have any practice material. I asked my friend who was also taking the course. You're gonna use your resources to figure out if there are any additional senior materials that you can for use, and you have to think like an examiner, not a learner. When you're going over material, always imagine in your mind how can I set it in a middle choice format, how can I set it in a short answer format, and then try to learn that way. Number two on the list is to write good concise notes and then plan out your timing for all your midterms and all your exams and consistently you balance your studying so that you're not falling behind. So example, let's say you're taking 5 courses and then before midterm you have to go over 10 lectures per course and then each lecture has 50 slides. That's also up to 2,500 slides that you have to go over before a midterm. So you have to write a good concise note that summarizes everything that makes it manageable for you to go over materials before you materialize the term so that you're not overloaded. That's right. Most of all, containing keywords and important information. You know that if you don't remember something from your notes behind the PowerPoint slide that you can always go back on. Number three on the list is to use active recall when learning. I mean, on this briefly, you can watch, but let me expand on that further here. Let me start off by giving you examples of students who don't know how to study. So when presented with an information like mitochondria is the powerhouse of a cell, what they do is without thinking, they just write. Nothing implemented in their brains. So when I'm going over my note is what I read information, I read only the keywords. And then as opposed to looking at my notes, I look at the keywords. For example, what is mitochondria? And then I try to think mitochondria is the part of powerhouse of the cell. Right, powerhouse of the cell. And then I try to supplement information from the lecture is the powerhouse of the cell because it produces ATP. So I'm using all of my senses. I'm reading that, which is my methodical motion. I'm perceiving things out with this verbal. I'm looking at my notes. I'm looking using visual cues, and I'm saying so I'm also using my auditory senses. And most often, when you ask for the recalling, you cannot remember all information, and that's okay because studies have shown that just by attempting to recall, you are getting the connection between the information and your memory. Number four, I cannot emphasize this enough reviewing is just important learning new information. So if you have 20 lectures to go over before midterms, for example, it's about to go 1 to 20 and then going back to 20. What I do is I go to 1 to 5 and then I review 1 to 5 quickly and then move on to 6 to 10. And then once 1 to 10, If you more quickly, I go over 1 to 5, and then I look over 6 to 10, and then I go into 11 to 15. Often you have to take time this credit before midterm so you actually cover everything. Number five is more mentality thing. You have to study harder for your midterms than your final exams. You're gonna obviously study hard for your final exam, but you have to study harder for midterms because that sets a tone for the entire course. Let's say about mark on midterm, and then the entire course is just a catch-up game. You're in the whole time, or probably 2 3 months, worrying about whether you're going to get enough good final marks so you can make up for getting a bad mark on midterms. Number six is having a strong mindset throughout the school year. I'm gonna come across here as really harshing, but you know the saying. You should give my best to say, fucking you be the best. Is your best really the top 20% of your class? Is your best the top 5% of your class? If the program you're going to get into, in the end has less than 10% as a grade, is being top 20% of the class good enough for you? No. See on something, you gotta get after it, and then you start producing good results and you build confidence along the way. Number seven is putting the work in or outworking everyone, which is kind of contradictory to put in this video because this study technique video. But compared to someone who knows only techniques and but doesn't know work hard, someone who doesn't know how to any of these techniques and this is just putting the hours into the and getting information into the brain, is always going to beat a person with better study techniques. I was a erratic person in my class, so what I was just literally outworked everyone. How do you know that? I walked into the library before everyone else, and I walked out of the library after everyone else. I spent my time sitting on Saturday night, when everyone was going out partying, and this was, one of the other students that was living in the library at the same time last night, and he's now a college student at UFI. Things that happen, to just have to work hours everyone if you really want to be successful. Number eight, getting a seriously studying partner and friend who wanted as part of you. You think it's gonna be hard to find them? Well, if you start studying like that at the library all the time, you can across these guys. It's hard coming in early in the morning and leaving like the night, coming in on weekends. When then you grad, I had a couple of friends who I really studied with, and we did interrupt each other. We studied full time study. We did interrupt each other. We was 20% were taken care of. We went out to have fun. Number nine is staying consistent and staying on top of everything, especially in medicine where there are like million things going on. If I start to lose track of things, I get super stressed. So I have to be on top of every email. I have to be on top of every, assessments and all the work that I have to do. Undergrad, you're dealing with 5 courses plus your extracurriculars and everything going on. So you have to stay on top of everything. So I'm kind of from behind. Yes, sure. To give an example, of residency and one is so important. Having a student B, student A is working for the night, Saturday, Sunday, storage. Student B decides to work afternoon but takes Saturday and Sunday off. And that student B has fallen behind student A by 12 hours, 24 hours. So no matter how hard he tries, next on Monday he's studying 14 hours, 4 to 12 hours. I'm studying 16 hours. That guy is always playing catch up to student A. And when you're in a curve in university and undergrad, you're just going not to be able to compete against student A. Number 10 is effectively controlling your anxiety and your worry. When you're going to school, there are two types of warriors. One is someone who doesn't know study and what is there, not studying. It's just something very simple. You just got to study. The second type of warrior is someone who worries despite having done all the studies. And when you're in that position, then you need to write down what you're worried about. And so on notebook, on an iPad or whatever, you're worried about because you're not seeing what you're worried about. So you write a line halfway in the middle, or write what you can control and what you cannot control. And something like what you can control is okay, only going to the library and studying for X amount of hours, and staying focused when you're studying. What you cannot control is the actual grades that I'm going to get for this course. So if I were to, who am I going to be? I'm going to be plus. I'm like I minus. I'm plus. You can control that. So you just focus on you can control. Or just give up, and you just have, and you just have to give up on what you cannot control. Okay, so that is the end of my video for today. Okay, so bye guys. I hope you have a good. Oh, still loading. So that is the end for my video today. I hope you enjoy that. So bye guys. I hope you have a good day. Okay, bye.